Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the market close. And what a day. What a day. Once again, we kind of got the picture on Wednesday. We got a green ending to the month. And we got a green day today as well. So we're going to take a look. This is the last trading day of the month. Monday is December 1st, believe it or not. Time to deck the halls and trim the trees and all of the other stuff. But, or like the Minerva? Is that what, is that? Yeah, anyway, we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Monday is also the first day of the financial train. Instead of the Polar Express, we'll just call it the financial train. That works. That works. So the way this is going to work is you guys know that on Wednesdays, I give you guys a chance to earn a Friday show. That's how we're here right now. Basically, to get an additional show, it's 4 supers or 4 gifted subs or a combination. So it could be 3 supers and a gifted sub or 3 gifted subs and a super, whatever. That gets another show. So the way this whole financial train thing is going to work through, actually the Financial Express, according to the Nightbot. I just saw the Nightbot pop it up. But every day, every single market close day, you've got the opportunity to push the train further and win another show. And we could potentially, guys, and this is up to you guys, but we could potentially have 16 bonus shows in December. Holy banana bread, I could be busy. So we'll see where this goes. Monday, of course, being December 1st, is the first day of the Financial Express. So if you want to have a stop on Monday, yeah, it's like we're putting stations down. Does the train stop on Monday? Up to you guys. We'll find out by the end of today's show. All right. Oh, boy. A lot going on. If you have not, and guys, you don't have much time. If you are looking for some input on what the channel members are going to be voting on for the channel member video, you got to get that in today, because I'm gonna pull it in the morning and send that to the channel members right away so that they can vote on what that channel member video is. Now, that channel member video was actually supposed to be today. Because, yeah, last video of the month. But the month got away. The month got totally away from me. So anyway, so basically it's been bumped to the first video. So that'll be Tuesday's video. The 0 to 100K challenge will get bumped to the next one. And oh boy, the video after that's going to be something special. Something really special. I'll probably leak what that one will be by the weekend, I'm sure. But nonetheless, let's get into the charts. I will click on, here we go. This is the button. This brings us up the TSX, and look at this, guys. We are, unless, like, technically there is still 12 minutes left in the market. We would pretty much need a nuclear war to break out to knock this below that blue line. I'm not, universe, I'm not testing you on this one. Let's just, we'll leave it at that. But yeah, it's pretty much, it's a green month. It is a green month. And this, I'm happy about this, even though my prediction for the month was a red month. I predicted just below that blue line is where we would end. So I am wrong, and I'm happy about it. I'm okay with being wrong. Yeah, look at this. A huge month. I do need to jump in here quickly with one little thing. The Banana Bread Company in with a $2 dividend. We're one of 3 now, one of 4. So 3 more, and we have a Monday show. But as usual, the Banana Bread Company gets, and today, guys, this could be the last time we see these goats. I may have to retire the goats after today, because I think by Monday might just be using OBS on Monday. So I don't know if I can translate these over. It's hard to say. I might wait. I might actually, Monday I might still use this one and switch over a little bit later in the week. But by the end of next week, we'll be on OBS. So things will look a little different, but not a lot. Everything will still be the same for the most part. But a huge thank you to the Banana Bread Company as we are one step closer to a Monday stream. All right, back to the charts. This is fantastic. We had a pretty good day today, up 0.65%. Now, mind you, it is a half day in the U.S., and the U.S. still had green, but could they make, holy banana bread, the S&P 500, look at this. They just pushed above the blue line. So the S&P 500, the S&P 500 is simply it's a green. And holy banana bread. I got to jump back to the chat. Lord Fubar is in with 10 gifted memberships. Oh boy. We don't have any question now. We got a show on Monday. We got a show on Monday with 10 gifted memberships. I don't even know who won them because it doesn't show me over here. But, oh my God, Nightbot. Shut up, Nightbot. Lord Fubar can spam all you want, Lord Fubar. You're free to spam. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, Lord Fubar. And, oh, wait a minute. That is, of course, worthy of a goat. Worthy of a goat. We got ourselves, everything is full, guys. If you wanted, you can still drop supers and gifteds and all of that if you want to, but the Monday show is already in the books. It's going down. That's just pretty cool. All right, who did win? To find out who wins, I actually have to go over to YouTube, and to do that, then you got to watch like the double me, and I don't want to do that. So congratulations to everybody who won a gifted membership. You guys will all get to see videos one day early for the next month while you've got your membership. You will also be able to participate. We have a membership live stream that will be coming up in December. You'll be able to come to that as well. And in addition, if that's not enough, you guys will actually get to vote on this next video. So I will have a vote. I'll have a poll out for on the channel members. So you just go to the community tab like you would for anything else, and you will be able to vote on what that next video is. So whatever best four I have right now from the overall community, you guys get to vote on that. So that's really cool. All right. Oh, I gotta watch the time. All right, now the NASDAQ, guys, yesterday we kind of surmised the NASDAQ wasn't going to make it above that blue line. They did have a green day, but it's not going to be enough. Here's the blue line up here. So the NASDAQ does finish in the red for October. So not much we can do for the NASDAQ. The Dow Jones, though, the Dow Jones made it into a green November. We got the Dow Jones, and I think the Russell as well. Yep, and the Russell. So everybody except for U.S. tech finished in the green. So what can I say? Not a bad November. Not a bad November. Unless, of course, you're heavy in tech. Then you might think, I don't think it's a good November. So definitely a good month. All right, guys, let's pull up the heat map. And, all right, I should move my head. I think my head's in the wrong place for the heat map. Let's put me over here. So we're going to move the head over here. It's like we should have some pins or something for my head to hit. It'd be like bowling. Anyway, here we are. It doesn't look too bad. We got a little bit of red with like Dollarama down 1.21%. Loblaw's down as well. Constellation Software down a full percent, but everybody else is looking pretty strong. Look at this. CNR continues to keep on coming up. Look at this, 1.56% up. CP up as well. The banks all looking pretty good. Manulife Financial up. It's looking good. It's looking good. I'm liking it. Barrick Gold up 1.59%. And there was news this week. One of their mines was under a little bit of a a little bit of some issues there. I believe it was one of the ones in Africa, but that has been resolved, and that's really good for Barrick Gold. So we're seeing a little bit of a pump in Barrick this week for sure. Switching to the United States. The United States looking pretty strong. We got some deep reds in a couple places like Eli Lilly. Look at them. They're down 2.61%. NVIDIA down 1.81%. But Microsoft's looking good. Meta up a good 2.26. Walmart's up. Amazon's up. Tesla's up. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. Broadcom is up. So what can I say? What can I say? And in the world of crypto, kind of flat. I mean, it's red to a certain extent, but not really a super great day. It's not a bad day either. Like Bitcoin just down a tiny bit, and that can change. That can change really, really fast. Ethereum up just a little bit. XRP, Solana, they're both, of course, in the red. So we are technically on a red day. So as you guys know, it's tradition around here to pick ourselves an altcoin to make fun of. I hate to say that. Like, yeah, we're gonna bully an altcoin. Here we go. Let's grab this one. Oh, it's a witch token. I'm bullying witches. Oh God, I'm gonna get canceled. Yeah, so witch token. I don't know what it does. Something's up. They're apparently up. They seem to have the magic today. But what can I say? They're worth 3 cents. I don't know what witch token does. Is it something related to witches? Or is it a game? Who knows? I do not know. However, if you're interested in getting some spells on, be sure to read the white paper. You're probably not going to make money on witch token, unfortunately. But what can I say? Which token? If you do want to make money in crypto, really stick to the tried and true. Stick to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and heck, even the Dogecoin. All right, guys, we got about 2 minutes to the bell. So let's jump into the chat. I'm going to pull up a big screen, and we're going to get in here. Claude says, hello, here to see the cat and talk finances, but mostly the cat. Just before the stream started, the cat left the room. I was thinking earlier, oh, looks like she might stay during the stream today. That'd be good. But no, the cat left. She left. Brian says, good afternoon, everyone. Isaiah says, hi, y'all. Oh, we got Lisa in with a good afternoon, everyone. Fairly quiet in the markets, but at least slightly up the past 2 days. Well, I don't know if I would, David. I mean, David, look at this. Let's look again. Let's look. Whoa, that's different. Let's look again here, David. Brian. Oh my God, I can't believe I called you David again. Brian, let's take a look here. That's not slightly up. That's a nice movement. I would say, yeah, we had a couple of good days. Maybe not slightly, but maybe, I mean, yeah, if you look at the U.S. markets, slightly, sure. I'll give it to you there. And a good old wave from Lord of Fubar, who made 10 people very happy today. Cowboy says, greetings all. And we have the wonderful Mary in the house with a good afternoon. And guys, Mary is the captain of our like button. So if you haven't hit the like button yet, do it now. Turn that like button blue. It helps the algorithm. It helps the channel. And it's giving me something to talk about in the last 10 seconds leading up to, well, you guys know what it's leading up to. It's leading up to the bell. Here we go. The market's closed. November in the books. It's over. It's over. I love it. I love it. Any of you joining late? We do have a Monday show. So we've started the Financial Express. I guess that's the name I went with. Financial Express. So every market day, we'll have a chance to earn another market close. So Monday has been done. Between Lord Fubar did most of the heavy lifting, but the Banana Bread Company, they helped as well. So between the two of them, Monday is secure. Monday, you will have another opportunity. Actually, guys, let me turn off. I'm going to go right over here. I'm going to turn off our night bot. There's no need to announce it now, but we'll talk more about it for sure. All right, let's continue. Actually, oops, wrong place. I'm gonna go big. I'll go big for the moment. All right, Doorpat in the house with a hello, everyone. We got Ian and we got Rory in here as well. Yeah, Brian saying Tuesday we can buy 60. Yes, we can. 60 will be on sale Tuesday. So it's actually funny. My contact over at Evolve messaged me on Thursday and said, oh, 60's coming out on Tuesday. And I'm like, my community beat you to the punch. My community was on top, and we celebrated Wednesday. So yeah, 60 is coming out on Tuesday. Can't wait. All right. A Cowboy says ready to go. Think I'll wait a week on 60. Okay, fair enough. Lord Fubar, Dollarama finally broke $200. Nice, nice. Now, I noticed that they were down today, but maybe they're down and over 200. Are they still over 200 right now? That's a good question. Let's find out. Let me just take a quick gander once again here. We'll do this the cheat way. We'll just go right in here and we'll head on over here to Dollarama. Yeah, look at this. Right now, they're still above 200. $200.03. It's under my head, guys. It's under my head. But $200. Now it's $200.02. It's still. This here is delayed about 15 minutes, so we'll see where it ends. Now 201. I don't want to watch it fall below 200 if that's what's going to happen. I'll just pull this back. All right, we'll head back on over. Rory says, at last, I finally got banked this morning at the X. Well, congratulations, Rory. How long have you been trying to get bank at your price? I'm glad you finally got it. I'm glad. Oh boy. Paul is in the house with a hello. Brian says, I'm curious what they will start it at. Likely $25, I assume, with it being a twice monthly dividend. That's interesting. Yeah. I don't know what they're going to start it at. I would like to see it a little low. I would rather see something like $20, to be honest, just because I think that's a little bit more affordable for a lot of people. Heather is in the house, and what a month. Yeah, this month has been a volatile month for sure. Yeah, it is an amazing month. Rory, sorry. Brian says, nice, Rory. It's a good ETF to have. When is 60 coming out? Tuesday. Tuesday, opening on Tuesday, you will be able to get your first look at 60. If it fits your risk profile, you can throw that in your portfolio, or you can take the slow road like Rory and just wait and see what happens. Or you can just say, nope, this one's not for me. There's nothing wrong. All of those are right answers. So, all right. Dorpat says, being wrong is a beautiful opportunity to learn. That's what I believe. Oh yeah, absolutely. A person who makes no mistakes hasn't learned a lot. That's what I will tell you, because that's your learning opportunities. Just don't make the same mistakes, because then you didn't learn from your previous mistakes, right? Find new mistakes. Always keep making new mistakes, folks. All right, now get EIT. I do like EIT. Rory says, I got EIT, but like to add on. Today it was either Bank, HYLD, or ELT. All right, and more from Lord Fubar. And Lord Fubar, guys, in case you missed it, I gifted 10 Mountain Finance memberships. So 10 of you guys. That's fantastic. I love it. Actually, this to date is the largest batch amount of gifted memberships. I think I did it once. I think I gifted 10 once at once. But this is the largest from one of you guys. So Lord Fubar, you're at the top. You're at the top of the gifted membership mountain for sure. All right, let's see. Yeah, Brian says, awesome Lord Fubar. Sorry, Fun Bar. I Lord Fun Bar, Quiet Nightbot. Yeah, it is Fubar, but this one says Fun Bar. Okay. ZX Borg says Jordan Belfort in the house, rainin' the money. Nice. Joe says happy Friday, everyone. Got my coffee and ready for the show. Making it rain. Happy Friday, says Roku. It's a pretty good day. It's a pretty good day. It's pretty chill. It was kind of chilly, but we had a little bit of flurries here today. But other than that, not too much. Let's see. Lord Fubar says, I've been buying Dollarama every month for the last 2 years, finally over the $200. Yeah, absolutely. I am long-term bullish. I'm long-term bullish on Dollarama for sure. Oh, I got a story about this mug. Got a story about it. Oh gosh, so good. So I was watching earlier today on YouTube. I watched a video. It was one of the U.S. news stations, and they're doing a video about AI and the universities, how they're dealing with students. Well, in the video at one point, they were just showing a university board, and one of the guys was sitting there, and I instantly was like, my cup! He had the exact same color. It was the Yeti cup. I mean, obviously, there was probably a lot of people with them, but it was just kind of neat to see it on the YouTubes. All right. Vineet in the house with a hi, everyone. Excellent, Lord Fubar. Congrats, all the winners. October, I think you mean November, probably. Gold plus silver rising. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Actually, we didn't look at gold, silver, and copper. What's going on? It's because I got so excited. It's Lord Fubar threw me into excitement. So let's take a quick look at just our commodities. Look at actually they're looking pretty good. Look at this. Gold up 1.35%, silver up 5.71%. Not too shabby. And copper, I've been bullish on copper. Copper, I have not, since I put copper up here, I don't think I've seen it in the red. 2.21%. And oil, WTI, the good old West Texas Intermediate, up 0.66%. So not too shabby. All right. Ian says, I bought some Utes today. It's the only thing I'm red on besides RMAX. Okay, fair enough. Tim is saying, CNR finally getting some love. Yes, we finally got some CNR going up. I think it's going to be interesting. Brian says CNR up 1.56%, and I'm still not buying it. I have some paint I will watch dry instead for my excitement. Okay, fair enough. Let's see. Brian continues to say, I like Utes, 550 shares. Which token? I know. Ian says, Wealthsimple says I'm up 2.93% this month. The stuff I let them manage is only up 0.68% this month. I don't know why. I don't just manage it all myself. I know. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Brian says, I'll buy the witch token in October next year, just in time for the Halloween pump and dump. Maybe that'll happen. I don't know. Rory, I'm too green. Am I going to get slapped by the Bears? Probably deserve it. Yeah, that's sometimes when you get really green, those Bears are just waiting to pounce. We'll have to see how that goes. All right, they need buy the witch spell. There we go. Buy the witch. Take the witch out for lunch. There we go. Somebody just jumping in on this channel right now is like, what? What's going on? Who's the witch? Ian says, let's see, I hope Utes works out long term. It's my third largest holding. Let's see, a nice interview with Adriano the other day, Candace. Oh, thank you. That's right. So over on, and I think it should have showed up in your feeds because we did it as a collaboration. But yeah, Adriano and his wife and myself and Dividend Empire, the four of us, we just sat and had a conversation. So more or less, the series, so the whole Passive Income Pioneer series, it's kind of this thing that Adriano's doing to try to get exposure to some of the other people who are in the business, we'll call it. All right. Paul says S&P 500 up 5 days in a row, which has not happened since June 26th for 6 days in a row. So you're expecting the S&P 500 to fall on Monday. It could. It could. It'll be very interesting to see because also keep in mind, we still have tax loss harvesting. So, and a lot of times once we get into December, that's when a lot of times some of the retail people start reacting to it. So we could certainly see some movement to the downside on Monday, but we'll take a look. We'll take a look. We'll see. Well, I'll be here, so we're gonna find out. Let's see. Janet says hello. Hello. How are you? Any news on what 60 might be paying? Nothing that I've heard yet. I haven't heard anything yet, but I imagine we'll hear something soon. I'm kind of thinking that it might be in the same ballpark as bank, but obviously two smaller dividends because you're being paid semi-monthly opposed to monthly. All right. I do not know what's going on about the pliers. Ian says, have you ever thought of adding sound effects like Jim Cramer? Maybe do it when they reach the next milestone? Speaking of the next milestone, so obviously, as you guys know, I like to do special videos when we hit milestones. And the last one we did was at 5,000. And I said, well, we're going to hold out to 10,000. We're not that far. We have passed the 9,000 mark. Actually, we passed the 9,100 mark. So we're not that far from 9,200. So we're going to see. I kind of did some math on the back of a napkin per se. And if I can pick up about 25 subs a day from now to the end of December, we can hit that target. We can hit that target for the new year. So that would be fantastic. Now, guys, I've not yet dropped the December schedule, but those of you who have not been around probably don't know about a tradition we got going on this channel. We got ourselves a Christmas Day live stream. It's not a long one. It's about an hour, but Christmas morning, I will be live. And it's funny, I'll tell you guys, the first year I did it, I honestly didn't think anybody was going to show up because, you know, Christmas morning, who's going to be watching a live stream? But you guys showed up. You guys showed up. It was fantastic. So I liked it. I liked it a lot. And we've done it every year since. And this year will be no exceptions, which is funny because this year I kind of came down. I kind of decided this year that I was going to take a couple of holidays off because I normally don't. I normally work through all the holidays. But I'm looking at the Christmas and I'm like, nah, this one's a tradition. I can't take this one off. So we're doing it again this year. I can't wait. All right. Noel says, I got one from someone. Thanks. That's Lord Fubar. Lord Fubar who dropped that, Noel. Cowboy, I got him. Let's see here. Roy says, I should get a pizza and celebrate my bank acquisition. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe if you can't get a pizza, maybe you could always drop a pizza emoticon. There we go. Drop some pizza emoticons in the chat there for Rory. So, you know what, guys? Let's do it. Let's drop in those pizza emoticons. How do I do it in here? I don't know. It's not giving me, oh, you know what? Let me try something. I'm going to try something. I don't know if I can do this, but let me just see here. That didn't work. That did not work. Hopefully, guys, I hope I'm still here. I don't know what I did. Let me just take a look. All right. There we go. Back. I was trying to hit the button to get an emoticon and I accidentally locked the screen. I don't even know if what it did to me while that happened. All right. Anyway, you guys take care of the emoticons. I'm not going to try that again. Or wait a minute. No, I think I hit the wrong button. This is the button I need to hit. So, ah. It won't work. I have a button, like I've got a button on my keyboard that brings up a big box with emoticons on it, but it doesn't work in the live stream. Maybe it'll work when I move to OBS. We'll have to see. But anyway, I hope there's a bunch of pizzas in there for Rory. Rory says, I'm always 2 steps behind everyone else. Now it's 6C, which I will avoid for a bit. Yeah, that's fine. Pizza and bank pizza and beer, as long as there's pizza or chicken. Canada banks will be reporting next week. Oh, good to hear this. So one video that I had been doing like a quarterly bank review video, but I canceled that series. And the reason I canceled it, guys, is it just wasn't getting the views. Like it was getting about 1/3 of the views of, of basically the average. That's kind of how I base things. Like I have a running average, which basically is a running average of views. If something can't even hit the running average, then it's like, oh. But yeah, it had been persistently not performing well. I know there's a few of you that love it, but we're gonna watch the banks. We're gonna watch the banks. We'll still bring the information to you in the live stream. So don't worry, you're still gonna get the information. We're just not doing a dedicated video to it. It's like that lesson. It's kind of like, here, let me have a drink of coffee first. I don't know if this happens to you guys, but whenever I really like a show on television, it gets canceled. And it's just kind of the way it is. I kind of feel like the TV execs now. It's like, I know that there's people who like the bank one, but I canceled it. I canceled it because it wasn't getting the ratings. I'm like, no. Oh boy. Anyway. No, what can I say? Rory says, watching HND make a tear to the downside. It's below $6. Have an order for a swing. Oh, that could be an interesting one to look at for sure. Isaiah, I'm a little late to the party. What are your thoughts on Biggie? I got big thoughts. I like Biggie. Of course, Biggie is one of the evolved ones. It is, of course. It's kind of like their answer. I wouldn't say HHIS, but it's kind of like in that vein. So yeah, you've got a lot of good stocks in there. And what's nice about Biggie is it's in that vein as well, where we're looking at the semi-monthly payments. So yeah, I do like Biggie. I like Biggie. And let's see, Cowboy says HBTE is my biggest loser. Yeah, I mean, HBTE has had they've had a rough month with Bitcoin. So, when you're looking at something like HBTE, and I've celebrated HBTE because it was leading the 0 to 100K challenge for a while. It dethroned a London Gold, and but now it's fallen. It has fallen. What is it at right now, actually? Let me just pull it up. I'll tell you guys what it is at. Give me a moment here. I have to pull up the 0 to 100K stuff. All right, HBTE right here currently is sitting at, and give it a second here to update. All right, it's up 56.93%. Now, it was a lot higher than that. It was 110% at the end of last month. So it's cut in half. But that's the nature of crypto. Crypto has that big volatility in it, and I'm not even worried about it. I know some people are like, "Oh my God, it's down." I'm not worried. I will probably, well, not probably. I did add more to it this month, while it was a little bit lower than it is now. So I don't mind. Ian says they should make a stock called 6-7. Get the kids interested in investing. I know. Oh, 6-7. Yep. It's a big, those of you who don't know, 6-7 is kind of a TikTok trend. And I've been talking to people about it for a bit. Actually, one of our live streams here, somebody was telling me that it basically means meh. So if something is meh, so MEH, it's 6-7. Well, I don't know. I always thought 7 was an exciting number personally, especially if you're at the casino. But what can I say? Maybe to the Zoomers, 6 and 7 are just not that exciting. All right. Zinnial says ex-dividend day for many ETFs. Yes, absolutely. It was also the ex-dividend day for Extendicare as well. They're down quite a bit with that. Ian says, I really want you to find a way to make a bubble drift around like a screensaver. Might help the channel grow. People used to like to watch the screensaver back in the day. Yeah, I used to like, you remember the pipes one? So it would make all of these random pipes and you could just follow it as it was making pipes. That's the one I used to watch. I used to be like, oh, that's cool. So I did like the pipe one. What? What? Nightbot, say it isn't so. How did he... Ian, the Nightbot may not come down your chimney this year. I'm just saying. What can oh, Nightbot, don't do it. All right. We got the pizzas. I asked for the pizzas. Here they are. So Claude's got some pizza. Heather at Newell. Look at this. Lovely pizzas. I love it. All right. Roku from Stittsville says, yay, ex-div divvy just dropped 14 minutes after closing, of course. Now, you know what? Means you got some money in there to spend on Monday morning. Rendu says, hi, y'all. Hi, Candace. What are your thoughts on the hot potato strategy? Thanks. That or Momentum's ETF? Oh, I will tell you right now, I have not heard of the hot potato strategy. So tell me what it is and I'll tell you what I think about it. Yeah, I just haven't heard of it. I feel like I should have, but I just haven't. If I tried to tell you what I thought about it, it wouldn't be the truth because I don't have any thoughts about it. But let me know what it is, and then we'll look at it together. Claude, XEI has not dropped them yet. Soon, I guess. Well, hopefully. That Clanker Nightbot scolded me for posting pizza emojis. I know, and it's not, it should be me. Nightbot, you should be scolding me. I told everybody to do it. So, nah, Nightbot. I'm gonna go into the settings on Nightbot and see if I can just say, don't give people warnings. Just don't do it. Because I don't like it. All right. Solo 1867 says, hello. Well, hello to you as well. How are you doing? Heather says, question. All right, Candace, I have 1700s in grant money in my kids' RESP. What should I buy? I need it to grow as much as possible in 5 years. Okay. All right, fair enough. So the part I like about this the most is that you got 5 years. So looking at that, that's enough time to ride out any kind of market conditions. So honestly, I would probably be looking at going into, I'm not going to tell you exactly what stock to go into, but I would be looking at probably a passive income ETF, something like any of the S&P 500 ones. You've got there's the Vanguard one. Pretty much every group has one, and they're all fantastic. You've got also the all equity. I think those are all really, really good. And here, let me pull up here for a second. And let's head on over to, all right, there's GLCC. That's a covered call. Now, I know we talk a lot about income, but in this case, if you've got a long runway and you're just looking to maximize that money, obviously for tuition and things like that, and tuition's pretty darn expensive, it makes sense to go with the highest total return you're going to get. So things like, I mentioned, let's just go to VFV for a moment. Things like VFV, for example, it is, and I'm going to pull up. Well, actually, let's pull up the 5-year. So this is a typical. You can actually see, one of the things I like about this is you can see what the market's doing. In this case here, you're going up. Here is a bull. This is, a bear market right in here, and then a nice long bull market, and another bear market in here, and then a bull market. So you can sort of see, well, actually, this here is the, this one right here is the bear market. This here is Liberation Day, so I don't want to call that a bear market. That's actually Liberation Day. So, good old Donald Trump did that, which is actually really funny because, well, you can't see it anymore on the 5-year. Hilarious. So let's go to the 10-year for a second. If we go to the 10-year, you can see this is the pandemic bump. Donald Trump's bump is just as big as the pandemic. So, but no, anything like this, and Vanguard just happens to be one, but all of them have their own S&P 500. There's a lot of different versions out there. When you're going into something like Wealthsimple, if you were just to type in S&P 500, S&P 500 like that, no, that's not S&P, that's S7P. Let's go with S&P 500. You can see, all right, it's not showing us. And I thought it would show us. Maybe, let me try something here. Let's do it this way. There we go, a little bit better here. So you can sort of see there's a whole bunch of different ones in here. And even, low volatility, don't look at any of those. Don't look at any of those. Dear God, I would thought it would be a little bit easy. Sometimes I find TMX is not always the easiest to search. All right, and I'm going to put in ETF as well. Let's see. Yeah, we got VFV in here. At least that's coming up. But they all, and here's a Investo S&P. That's a tilt index. I wouldn't go with anything fancy. But there's a whole bunch of them. I'm trying to not say go with VFV because, like I said, any of them will be fine. Also, any kind of, and here, let's take a look at, I'll use FEQT. I always go to XEQT. But FEQT, that's the Fidelity all-in-one. Now, this one is nice too because you're gaining all of your exposure to the main markets in North America. Oh, wait a minute. Where is, oh, you can't even see what I'm looking at. All right. All right. Oh, it lost my, I bet you when I had that weird error, it lost my screen. Oh boy. I thought I still had the screen up. So I wasn't even worried about it. All right, let's see here. Where am I? I am on the screen here. Let's pull it up. There we go. It's back. Holy banana bread. I can't believe, how long was I talking and I didn't even have the screen there and I thought it was there. Oh boy. Yeah, so like, here's another one. I'll bring up, so this here is FEQT. Let's pull it up. FEQT, come on. There we go, FEQT. I'll just bring this on up. Let's get rid of this ad. And let's just look at the 5 years. Now this one hasn't been around for 5 years, but pretty close. And you can see it follows the market pretty closely. So anything with a big total return, that's what I would be looking at. I wouldn't worry so much about covered calls because when you get into covered calls, that's about income. This is not about income, what you're asking. What you're asking is about straight up growth, total return, get your biggest bang for your bucks, your best, and where you're looking at kids, so education, you kind of want to go as safe as you can be. Like your risk profile shouldn't be that high. But here's the thing, you got 5 years, even if we went into, and you can see like, like for example here, right here, this here, some of these little dents, some of these little bear markets, even if we went into a bear market, you'd have time to recover. In fact, in a bear market, if you're adding more money to the RESP, that's even better because you're getting it at a cheaper price and you're going to get bigger profits on those ETFs. So yeah, anything like that. If you want to stick a little bit to Canadian, to Canada, things like VDY. So just give you an example here. This here is your Vanguard FTSE, Canadian high dividend yield. So once again, and here we'll go to 5 years on this one here. you can see that Canada's been really interesting. We've been doing really well the last few years. Like the S&P this year, the S&P 500 has the TSX has outperformed the S&P 500. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So that's how I would go. I would go with safety. I love, like, I am a growth income investor. So I like my solid foundation, and I love my income. But like I said, in the case of income, I would not go with income in the RESP, not with a 5-year runway. Stack things up, your ETFs. Let's grow them as much as you can for the kids. All right. And Lord Fobar says, I like Biggie and Canny. 6'7", a scale to 10. Hot potato or Coach Potato? Ooh. Every time I hear Coach Potato, I think of that Weird Al song. Roku says, back in the day, the flying toaster screensaver was the one to get. I don't think I ever had the flying toaster one. Holy cow. How far behind am I? Oh, I'm not that far behind. I'm only about 7 minutes behind right now, guys. Cowboy bought more HBTE at first, then saw the MSTY disaster and pulled back. Now, I do want to point out, HBTE, do they have any strategy? Sure they do. But that is isolated. So it is isolated, and it's protected because it's just one component in a bigger basket. So they're not going to fall the way like MSTE has or MSTY. They do have a little bit of protection against that level. And that's the beauty of having a bigger basket. Whereas, both MSTY and MSTE, they've got a basket of one. So the strategy pulled both of those down. Strategy, will it hurt HBTE? A little bit, but when Bitcoin was doing well, you'll notice HBTE didn't seem to show any fatigue at all from strategy when strategy was already struggling. So I wouldn't compare them. Are they similar? Sure, but I would not compare them. All right. Let's see. Good you did that, Cowboy. They are pure garbage. Let's see. You can see what the markets are doing. We can't. I know. Big green of nothingness. Yep. We'll be watching the HBTE. We'll most likely skid it once I'm clear. Okay, fair enough. Heather says, I was looking at VFE, going to put some in there. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So VFE is definitely a good one. All right. We see no chart, Candace. In the black hole, that witch is controlling you. I know. I can't believe it. And that's the thing. I knew I was on the right screen I knew I was on the right screen. I just didn't know that the actual thing had shut down. All because it all goes back to the pizza. If I hadn't tried to put the pizza in, then I would have still had the screen. What can I say? Claude says, I like HXQ, the NASDAQ index. It often outperforms VFE long-term. And yeah, HXQ, that's another one. Although HXQ is going to be tech heavy. But I've got a lot of confidence in tech. And tech is one of those ones that when it does retreat, it always comes back. So if we look at HXQ, for example, and I actually had it in the challenge for a bit. Now, this one does not have a dividend. There we go. So this is your Global X NASDAQ 100. Let's pull up the 3-year. You can see it looks pretty good. Like right now, tech is struggling a little bit right now, but tech will be fine. Tech always is. This is another good one. Now, when you compare something like VFE has a lot of the same stuff as HXQ, but HXQ is more concentrated to the tech side. I do like it. It's a pretty good ETF for sure. All right. Bismarcky says, happy Friday, all. Paul, yes, I know. Michael is in the house. Hello, Candace. I plan to sell my small position of Northland as a capital loss. Should I wait to get $18 as it bounced today? Did it bounce a little bit today? This is entirely up to you. I mean, really, here's the thing. Let's go to MPI for a second. And how far off are they? Right now they're at 1739. Oh, look at this. They actually came up quite a bit today. See if I can see it on there. Yeah, look at this. So that's a nice jump that we've seen today. I still like NPI. I like NPI. They have a product that people still need. It's not like they're going to lose all their customers because the stock price fell. I think this is going to be fine. So yeah, if you're planning to sell your position, here's the thing. If you're selling it for, well, if you're using it for tax loss harvesting, this is the question you got to say. How much do I want for tax loss harvesting? So if you sell it at 1739 or whatever it is on open, you'll get more if if you need more, if you want to apply it against a pretty big capital gain. But should you wait to 18? Will it get to 18? I think it will. Will it get there next week? I don't know. I don't know, but I think they definitely will. I can see. I can see them easily getting to 19. I don't know if it'll be by the end of December. It's a possibility. It's not outside the realm of possibility. But by in the early new year, I could definitely see them getting to about $19 pretty easily. And that reminds me, I really need to buy some. I really need to. I kind of want to open an NPI swing. Bismarck says goodbye, November. Hopefully a much better December ahead. Well, November wasn't that bad. It was green. But we should see, if we get the Santa Claus rally, we probably will end slightly above the blue line. I think that's what I'm going to call for December. A little bit of downward pressure first half. Second half, we'll see. We should see some rebounding. By the end of December, I think we'll be above the blue line. So that's it. A green December. I'm calling it now. But guys, take it with a grain of salt. I called red for November, and at the last minute, November pulled it out of the bag, pulled it out of the fire. So that screen looked like a Melanie Jolly contract. Oh boy. Candace, you need a shock device for your wrist when you talk about charts, but do not show them. I agree. There used to be, what was it? There used to be something oh my God, it was one chat service where the customers could actually, the people in the chat, if you, let's say you weren't showing a screen or something, they used to be able to make the screen shake a little bit. That's what we need. That's what we need, because I'd love that. But yeah. Anyway, I think on OBS, I think it'll be easier for me to see what's going on, which is a benefit. Stephen Gilboat, he quit today. Oh, I did not hear that. Interesting. The West is so sad to see that fool go. All right. Let's see. We'll jump down here. Thanks, Candace. Going to go for VFV for sure. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and here's let's see here. Just use an all-in-one ETF ending in EQT. So yeah, that's like FEQT, XEQT, VEQT. Yeah, all of those EQTs, those are of course your all equity. So they're giving you exposure to a little bit of everything. So yeah, I do like those. Grow and BAL, those are also not too bad as well. Because like I said, you don't want to take any risks in that situation. You want to play it safe. Otherwise, otherwise your kids will be like, where's my money? I'll tell you, the worst thing for kids today is if they have to use student loans, because, oh boy. And I'll also put this out here too. If I had kids today that were going to be going to, coming out of high school, I might even say, you know what, guys, you can go to university if you want to do something, big, like, be a lawyer, a doctor, maybe an astrophysicist, all of those things. But, I would probably say if you want to make money faster, you probably might look at some of the trade school, because the trades are in huge demand. And I also think the trades, a lot of those trades will be the last things that AI ever replaces, if you're worried about AI. Right. A cowboy says, the pipeline of pipe dreams, the only one without a veto is my neighbor's dog. Rory says David Eby is too radical left. He has to have some give here. All right, let's see. Covered call ETFs with leverage. But we'll keep this investing or Candace's bot will kick us out. There we go. Yeah, we'll keep things invested. We'll keep things investing. I mean, I don't mind us moving in a little bit, but just keep it respectful and we're good. Morley bought CEGS CDR, hot pick from BNN today. Oh, let's take a look. Let's take a look. All right, here we go. So this here, Constellation Energy CDR. All right, let's take a look here. All right, Constellation Energy. And this is a new one. Oh, I'm interested. Interesting that it's a hot pick. So it's a brand new CDR. Let's just see here. All right, so which one is, I'm not super familiar with Constellation Energy. You know what? Let's take a look at Constellation Energy here. All right, Constellation Energy, CEGS. All right, here we are, CEG in the US. So I do like, I'm a big fan of utilities, energy companies, all of that. First of all, let's very quickly take a look here and see what they do. So they offer energy solutions, clean energy and sustainable solutions to home businesses and public sector. Okay, yeah, I like what they're doing. Let's see what they've done though. I'm gonna pull up their 3-year. Oh, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad movement at all. You know, they've got the downs where you'd expect them, but yeah, they've been look at this in 3 years. They've gone from $87, 364. Now I'm gonna take a quick look at their back end as well here. Ooh, I like this. Return on equity, 20.35%. Their debt to equity, not that bad, 63%. This is not a bad looking company. Constellation Energy, and of course, Morley is getting it through a CDR. That's not a bad pick, not a bad pick at all. Yeah, it probably will do well. I can see BNN, I can see it being a hot pick from BNN. I don't know if I'd call it a hot pick, but I think it's a good pick. Danielle says, if I knew what I know today, I would have invested my kid RESP in VFV. It was invested in something too safe, too late. He is 19 and already using it. Okay, yeah, all right, fair enough, fair enough. Sometimes, yeah, hindsight can certainly be huge, that's for sure. Cowboy says, how long before you can rebuy when you sell for the tax loss harvest? Okay, so once again, if you're selling in for a tax loss harvest, so obviously, guys, this isn't a non-registered account, right? Because of that. So you have 30 days, because if you rebuy, so let's say I sold, let's say I sold NPI and I bought NPI back within 30 days, it would no longer be a capital loss. It would be a superficial loss. So a superficial loss, you can't apply that to anything other than you could apply it to being just a stupid move. It's like, no, I just lost my loss. So yeah, don't buy back. Don't buy back within 30 days. And I have also heard that if you sell, because I thought this was a nice way to maybe get around it, but if you sell it and then buy it back in like your TFSA when you've got new space, I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even do that. I've heard some stories that people have got have lost their capital loss that way as well. So don't do that either. Wait 30 days. And for me, guys, when it says 30 days, I always wait bare minimum 31. Just because I don't want to accidentally misjudge when I can buy back. So, yeah, definitely don't do that. All right. Okay. Mary. Oh, guys, you've evoked Mary. Like button, people. I guess not enough people are hitting the like button. Please, please, please do so. That will push this out to the algorithm. And with all these bonus shows coming up in December, oh boy, let's get this place rocking. It's been a while since we've had 100 live viewers at once, so we get close, but I'd like to see us break that a few times. I think the record is about 150, so Actually, I don't know what the record is. Why? I thought it was 150, but I'm going to take a look, guys, and see what it is. 135. There we go. So the record on a live stream is 135, and that was when I had Adriano as a guest. So that's going to be a tough one to beat, but I'd like to see us beat it at least one live stream in December. All right. Rory, Cowboy, isn't it the last trading day of the calendar year on the 31st? Yeah, I think it technically is. Yeah, I think the 31st is I think it's a Thursday. I think it's a Thursday this year. All right. GCU Copper, Kyle Livingston find. Okay. All right, let's jump here. Ooh, we got the QQQ. What do you think of ETSX covered call ETF? I wonder if it's worth it as the Canadian market is doing so well. And maybe it's better to invest in XIC or something like that. All right, let's take a look at this one. ETSX. All right. All right, here we go. So once again, this here is, now this one is an evolve one. So it's the S&P, it's not the full S&P, the S&P TSX. So it's not the full TSX, but it's a TSX 60. Don't forget the bell. I did the bell. Sorry, I just jumped ahead for a second. Don't forget the bell. We did the bell. I came on to that bell pretty big. We did the bell. Yeah, so this here is a smaller version. So it's basically the more concentrated, higher end of the TSX. So it is a good, it's a good fund. It is a good fund. Now you can see it's been moving up pretty well. Now, the difference on this one here is that, well, take a look here. You'll see this one does have a little bit of a dividend. Not much, though. It's like 18.8 cents. Sorry, it's 18.8 cents every month. For a distribution, there we go, 9.184%. So I do believe they are using covered calls in here. And yeah, it's not a bad one. It's not a bad one as well. I'm a fan. I mean, I like Evolve overall. Is it going to be your best bet? Depends on what you're looking at. Depends on what your goals are. So XIC, and well, let's pull X. You know what? Let's do the thing here. Let me just duplicate this tab. We'll bring up the iShares one here. There we go. Excuse me. There we go. All right. Now with iShares, you don't have covered calls. That's going to be your big thing. So you'll look here, 2.239%. And what am I looking at here? I was looking at, was it the 3-year? Yeah, the 3-year. All right, we'll bring the 3-year up here. And you'll see, like you can see right here very easily that, you've got more of an upward movement with XIC. And the reason for that is, well, there's no covered calls. So you are getting more upside. So here's what I'm talking about when it comes to what your goals are. If you're looking for income, well, obviously you're not going to get any, really, well, you're going to get a little bit, but not much when it comes to XIC. And you're going to get that income with the XTSX, because that's what it does. It is about that income. However, if you're all about the total returns, well, XIC is going to win. XIC will win the day. That's just over the long term. Yeah, absolutely. So it will have better total returns than, and I haven't run the data, and you might get a situation where, where the Evolve one might win. There are situations. So for example, if we had a period of a flat market or even a slightly down market, or if we have a very, very slightly up market, well, the covered call could potentially win those, because they're not going to have to deal with that capped upside potential. Because, if they're not hitting the strike prices, then they're not losing any of that potential, and they're going to bank a lot more of it. And I think that's part of the reason that bank has done so well, that, even though the banking sector has done well, it hasn't been like to the moon type well. It's been more of a steady climb. And I think that has worked in their favor. So you got to keep that in mind for sure. All right. Rory says, Looking forward to BMO's special dividend. They will announce it mid-December for various assets in BMO. Nice. Will Canoe be doing their buyback special again this year? Yes, they will. Yeah, they do that every year. So Canoe will buy back shares. And they'll say it'll be it's set to the net asset value. You'll get the net asset value on a specified date. And one of the things that Canoe does do is those shares they buy back, they kind of go into the void. So it's like it's a share buyback. So if you are still holding Canoe after that, you typically will see a little bit of movement to the upside. So I personally would never sell my shares back. I never will. I love Canoe anyway. I would love to see the dividend a little higher. It's been 10 cents a month for a long, long time, but at the same time, it's got that reliability, and I do like that reliability. Clive says, good day, all. Let's see. Yes, Cowboy, they contacted me to do that. There we go. I thought it was a joke. No, it happens every year. Now, I haven't heard if they're going to do any kind of a special. Now, normally when Canoe does their special dividend, they do it through. They've got this whole process, and we'll discuss it if it happens. It's very confusing. I don't want to bring it up if I don't want to confuse people with it if we don't have to. So we'll have to see. I haven't heard any news yet, but it's still a little early. Rumor has it. All right. Why does my total return for the day not match total of each ETF's return for the day when added together? Let's see. I use Wealthsimple and invested 9 Canadian dollar ETFs, minus 722 versus plus 51. Seems like a large discrepancy. Maybe. The problem here, I've never trusted Wealthsimple math. I'm going to say this. Like, I love Wealthsimple, but I've never trusted any of their statistics because sometimes problem is I don't know where they're pulling the data from that they're calculating it. So are they using market open to market close, or are they looking at market close to market close? So, there's different data points that they could be using. I don't know how they're doing it. I would need to see the clear-cut math of how they're doing it for me to trust it. Honestly, I do my own statistics. I love Excel, and I do my own. I do my own for that very reason. So yeah, I would stick with your own. So if you're looking at a plus 51 and they're giving you a minus 722, look at your own. You can sort of look at your ETFs and add them up. So yeah, I would go with what you have. I definitely would do that. And just jumping ahead of everybody to Cowboy for a second, because this is relevant. I think Wealthsimple counts the highest point of the day. That would do it. I don't like to do it that way. Like every time I do any kind of calculations on total return, I will use either market open, market close. It really depends. So for example, if I am scripting a video that I'm going to film for Tuesday, I'm usually scripting it on Sunday. So I will use the market close of Friday. That's going to be the date that I'm going to use. If I'm scripting it in the middle of the week, let's say I'm scripting the video on Wednesday, to film on Thursday, I will use, on Wednesday, I'll use the market open. But I'll usually, and I try to do this. I did it today. I did it on today's video. I will try to put the date. I'm actually starting to do that more often. I will put that date in there so that you guys know where I pulled that data from. Because then it gives you a reference point, especially if you're one of these folks. And I will get this. This is hilarious, guys. Sometimes somebody will come and they will look at a video that I did 3 years ago or 4 years ago. And they'll come back and they'll say, yeah, this data is really wrong. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's from 4 years ago, because they're comparing it to today. And it's like, yeah, it's data from 4 years ago. Today's completely, But sometimes I get that. And that's just, it's just part of being on YouTube, I guess. Let's see. Rory says, every time I see HHIC, it reminds me of Hockey Night in Canada on CBC. Yeah, so HNIC. Yeah, I can see why. Let's see, the problem I have is the start of day isn't the same as market close because of after-hour trades. Fair enough, fair enough. And that's when you're looking at like your US stocks, for sure, absolutely. The big thing is just be consistent for sure. Let's see, AN, market average or closing makes the most sense. Yeah, or closing. I mean, I do like closing, like I said. For me, it's either closing or opening. But you know what? For consistency's sake, when I do that video on Wednesday, I probably should use Tuesday's close instead of the open on Monday, just because that way there I'm being consistent across the two videos. So that's a good idea. All right. Claudia says, Candace, I discovered you yesterday knowing nothing about investments. You communicate and explain in a way that it is very easy to understand. I have learned a lot in just 8 hours. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. And hey, welcome to the stream. This is kind of Claudia, this is what I will tell people. The way to get the most out of this channel is watch the videos. If you got questions, jot them down, bring them to one of the live streams, and then ask. That to me is one of those things. So yeah, utilize everything for sure. All right, Rory says I update at the close of market. Okay. Danielle, there is a rule that you should not have more than 5% in a stock. Do you think this would be applied to a covered call such as HHIS? That's a rule, sure. Do I live by that rule? Yes and no. Yes and no. So here's my guide. And it's not a rule, it's a guide. This is my guide. So if I'm holding an individual stock, I try not to hold more than 5% unless that stock has like asset management or is a fund. So two good examples, Brookfield Asset Management. I don't mind them going up as high as 10%. Canoe EIT, they're an income fund. They hold other stocks. I will not, they're fine. They can go up to as high as 10%. So I kind of put 10%. Now, if I'm looking at something like an ETF, well, the rules will change depending on what they're holding. So if that ETF is holding a single stock, yeah, the 5% rule. If they're holding multiple stocks, like a small basket, then probably my 10% rule. But if it's a passive income exchange, so something like take VFE. VFE, I would be fine. I would have no complaints taking that all the way up to 20 if I really wanted to. So it really boils down to what it is you're doing. Now, one thing I want to sort of point out too is you could technically with ETFs, you could have a very well-balanced portfolio with just a handful, like maybe 5 ETFs, 4 ETFs. So you know, go with what's comfortable for you. Go what makes sense. Because let's say you're not into ETFs. Let's say you're just investing in stocks and you go with that 5%. Well, that's like 20. That's like 20 stocks. And sometimes paying attention to 20 stocks, paying attention to the fundamentals of 20 stocks, boy, that's a lot of work. One of the reasons why ETFs have become so popular for sure. Really look at it as a guide. And also keep in mind too, like, you could go and buy, let's say you went and bought Brookfield Asset Management tomorrow and you bought 5%. Well, chances are a month from now, it might actually be a 6% stake at that point because of the stock going up and other stocks may be going down, things like that. So, look at it as a guidepost. Don't look at it as a rule. It doesn't make sense to be a rule. Cowboy, I take a picture before it opens. Let's see. Candace is making millionaires on her channel. Nice, nice. I think Lord Fubar might be the first millionaire because definitely paid it back big time today with the 10 gifted subs. So love it. Cowboy, good advice and it's honest. You know what? I will tell you guys, like when somebody asks me something and I don't know it, I'll tell you I don't know it. Kind of like the hot potato strategy. Don't know it. I feel like I should know it, but I don't know it. So, Claudia, I watched your videos until 1 a.m. last night. I started to invest some money that was doing nothing in my TFSA. I need to grow income ASAP. All right, yeah. So is that kind of where you're going? Are you looking to be an income investor? I guess the big question is, what type of a runway do you have? Is it the situation where you need income now? Or do you perhaps have some time to build things up? Because that can change the strategy that you may want to adopt for sure. All right. Ian says, I only hold 4 stocks and 6 ETFs, so 10 holdings in total. Yeah, there we go. I would follow Gigi's lead. All right. Let's see here. Jizzy says, let's see. Over diversification also reduces returns as per Charlie Munger. I overinvested in Google below 100 a share and do not know what to do with so much money. Some companies have the best balance sheet. Oh, there we go. Yeah, you don't want to diversify for the sake of diversification if it's to a point that you don't have a lot of faith. So, Jizzy was talking about Charlie. Warren Buffett, a lot of times he doesn't like to invest in companies he doesn't understand. And that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Like, you should understand what it is that you are investing in. So, for example, like, there's people out there that look at income and they're like, oh, look at the yields on these things. But yet they don't understand covered calls. Like, there are people who will get into covered calls and don't understand that, they're losing a little bit of that upside potential. So that's one of the things, and that's one of my goals, is to try to demystify a lot of these things. So covered calls, split core, you name it. I want to demystify it. All right. Rory says, I don't watch him anymore. Charlie Munger? Yeah, I haven't watched him in a while. Oh boy. R.I.P. poor Charlie. All right. If I focused on my TFSA rather than my RRSP, I would have retired by now. And this is one of those things. Yeah, your TFSA is definitely more powerful than your RRSP. There are some situations where the RRSP makes a lot of sense. So this is how I look at it. When it comes to investing, number one priority, if you're working and you have a job that does RRSP matching, no, hands down, you want to be, whatever the max is for that RRSP matching, you want to be hitting that. Because, well, that's 100% return on investment immediately, without, in that second, because, your employer is paying that half. So you want to do that. The other circumstance is if you really want to get involved in a very high dividend or a high dividend U.S. stock. The RRSP is nice because you're not paying that 15% withholding tax to the IRS. So that makes sense as well. The third is if you have a tax situation. So if you're needing to defer some taxes, so let's say you had that year where you made a lot of extra money and it's in a higher tax bracket that's outside of your norm, it might make sense to move that into your RRSP, and then you can write off some of your income and bring your taxes down. So that when you retire and you pull that out of your RRSP, you'll still pay taxes then, but you'll pay at a lower bracket, so you're paying less taxes, but you're still paying taxes. So that's just one thing to look at. But then, if you've got room in your TFSA, then that's where you really want to be investing. Now, let's throw a caveat there. Speculative investing. It's not the place. You don't want to put that in your TFSA. Because if you're, let's say you want to take a gamble on some penny stocks, and you think, oh, these are going to explode. Well, if you buy all of that, let's say you bought, let's just go, we're going to go extreme. You got $100,000 TFSA. You get a stock tip from somebody, from Joe down the street, and Joe Schmo says, yeah, this penny stock, it's getting ready to explode. It's gonna quadruple in price, if not 100x. And you're like, oh man, I'm gonna put $100,000 into it in your TFSA. Well, Joe Schmo was an idiot, and This penny stock that was, let's say, worth 50 cents at the time, all of a sudden, it just falls to 25, then to 10, then to something under a penny. Because it just, you've basically now just lost, first of all, you lost all your money. And you've lost all your contribution room. It's gone. It's shrunk. So speculative stocks, you probably, you know what? If it's a speculative stock and it's more of a gamble, don't put it in your TFSA. Hold it. Unfortunately, yeah, if it explodes and you do make a bunch of money, you will be paying taxes if you're holding it outside of your TFSA. But most of the time, those gambles like that don't work out for you. So I wouldn't personally. I would rather take the tax hit than risk losing all of that room in the TFSA. All right. Claudia says, yes, passive income. I have no much time. I do need it now, but in 3 to 5 years. Okay. So you've got some time. So probably the best portfolio for you, where you've got about a 3 to 5 timeline, is, like I said, kind of where I'm at. Like, I am a growth income investor. So that's your hybrid strategy. So you're still looking at some stocks to, total return stocks to build up your space, but you're also starting to bring in a lot of income stocks too. So, or income ETFs. That's not a bad place. And I think you're in a good position to be making that transition from total return to income. You're definitely in that area. And as you get closer to the 5 years, you'll start to pull back on some of the, the growth components, and you'll start to move even more into income. And then that way there, when you do retire in that TFSA, you should be able to generate a nice tax-free income coming out that's not going to impact any of your supports. So that's kind of a good thing. And yeah, and you're basically, you're saying exactly what I just said. You want to generate passive income in your TFSA for 3 to 5 years down the road. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Danielle says, good for you, Claudia. You also have to think long-term. Yeah, always think long-term. Rumor has it. Thanks, Candace. I will look into it. I'm a new viewer / investor from Ottawa. Thanks for the great videos. You're welcome. And in case you haven't found out yet, I'm in Ottawa. So one more to the Ottawa family. All right. And says, Buffett never invests in anything without physically visiting the company when possible. Yeah, Warren Buffett is very much, I want to understand what I'm investing in. And that's smart. It is smart. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have enough room or time to be going and visiting companies that we're investing in, unfortunately. But there's a lot of information out there now. Like, we now have a lot of information that we can pull off of the internet, which is fantastic. Imagine investing like even 30 years ago, before the internet, before YouTube. A lot harder. Of course, at that time too, you also had to use usually had to go through a financial advisor who would interface with the broker. Yeah, it was a lot different. It was a lot different for sure. All right. Rory says, Gary, Gill, Candace, not Charlie. I like Munger. All right. Anchor says, in regards to TFSA, I know CRA doesn't want day trading in the account, but what is the definition of day trading? I bought some stocks, let them grow in value over a couple of weeks. All right. So, well, day trading, first of all, day trading is short, frequent trades. That's basically what, from the CRA perspective, that's what they would be looking at. Now, I will point out, if you've made one trade that was short, you're not hitting that second part. You're not hitting the frequent. So that's not going to be a big thing. But if you're doing it a lot, if it's a pattern, you will catch their algorithm, and they can come in and look at it. So a general rule of thought, that will keep you safe is, if you sell something and you want to buy it back, wait 30 days. And like I said, I like the 31. Use that same time frame that they use for superficial losses. So wait that 30 to 31 days before you buy it back, just to stay safe and really Don't, if you are looking, look, if you're looking to make a bunch of trades, create an account outside of your TFSA for that. You can, though, let me point out, you can day trade in your RRSP. There's no problem there because they're getting all of the taxes anyway. And if you are caught, and let's just to point this out, if you are day trading in your TFSA and you get caught, what they will do is they will basically, well, they'll make everything taxable during the window that they've deemed that you were doing day trading. Not just what you were day trading. If you had a couple of legitimate trades in there that wouldn't technically be day trading, they'll hit you on that too. So just don't do it. Don't do it. All right, there we go. Yeah, buying and selling too. Often matched RRSP was free money. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Berkshire Class A is 770,000 right now. Only owning 10% of Class A could make one a millionaire because Canadian dollar is too low. Yeah, the Canadian dollar is pretty low. Absolutely. Imagine if you could have picked up their Class A share even 20 years ago. Oh boy. That would not be, that would be pretty good. That'd be pretty good for sure. Well, actually, let's take a look. Let's take a look and see how good that would be. BRK here. Berkshire Hathaway, here we go. Class A. We're going to pull this on up. And let's see here. I happen to have 20 years. All right, here we go. So 20 years ago, you could have bought this for $90,000 basically. And now it's worth 770. So that's, that's more than 7x. It's closer. It's probably, if you did the math, it's probably closer to 8x. So that's not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. All right, Anchor says, when I turn around and sell them for a quick profit, then waiting for them to fall and then rebuy, does that constitute day trading? Well, yeah, it does. I mean, it's day or swing trading, but you don't want to be doing that in your TFSA. So if you turn them around, let's say you sell it because it had a big spike, don't buy it back for 30 days in your TFSA. I mean, if you do it once, you're probably fine. Still, I can't advise you to do that, but you probably will be fine because they are looking for frequent, but still, I look at this. Don't give the CRA any excuse to look at you. Never give the CRA any excuse. So yeah, I would not do it. Now, what I would do is, let's say, for example, it was a bank that spiked. Well, I could sell that bank, and then a couple of days later, if the banking sector came down a little bit, I would just buy a different bank. So maybe switching from Scotiabank to TD or Scotiabank to CIBC. That's perfectly fine. Then wait for CIBC to spike, and you can sell that, and then buy back into Scotia. If that's where, I think that's where we started in the example. All right. I use the RRSP to offset bonus. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, Danielle. I don't like to deal with CAD to USD. That's why I love these CAD ETF that invest in US companies such as VFV. HHIS, HYLD, yeah, absolutely. And if you do want individual stocks as well, CDRs, they're fantastic. I love CDRs. All right. And of course, I am just getting us caught up here a little bit. Company I used to work for is keeping their assets through CSPEN until I turn 71 or when I'm gone. The ETFs I own will blow right past it, in my opinion. Probably. Let's see. Lots of weed companies evaporated people's TFSA. Yes. Yes. A lot of people made a big... See, weed was always a speculative stock. And I think a lot of people thought... I thought too. I actually thought weed would do better when it was legalized. I was like, well, maybe. But I wasn't willing to go in much. I went in a little bit. And... but yeah, I think it was Weed MD I went into. And it tanked. Now, I was very, very lucky. I happened to be on the internet one morning, and the market had just opened, and all of a sudden, Weed MD exploded to the upside, like big time. So I got out at a profit really fast. It wasn't up very long. It was because of Wall Street Bets decided to make a play on Weed MD. I was like, all right, fine. We got there. We got there. All right, guys, we are starting to get close to the end here. We've been here for 1 hour, 30 minutes. These things don't normally go this long, but you know, it's a Friday. If you have your last minute questions, get them in here as I get caught up. Let's see, I made back my original investment in NDA, made 10K and got back into my original position in the TFSA. I covered a trip. NDA, Neptune Digital Assets. Yeah, exactly. It was either weed or lithium penny stocks. Yeah, lithium was another one that was, I didn't get into lithium. And I got killed for 3K in weed MT, didn't help when rebranded to Entourage. Oh boy. Yeah, I may be one of the few people who made a profit on that. Like I said, it was dumb luck. I just happened to be there when it happened. And as soon as I was in the green, quite literally, and the funny thing is, as soon as it moved up into the green, I put my order in to sell immediately because I wanted out. And it kept going up. By the time my order got processed, I ended up getting out right at the top. I was like, I couldn't have scripted this better. It was great. Danielle said, I have a little 2K and a penny stock in my TFSA that already tripled. I know it's not the best, but it's my gamble. Most of my speculative is my NR, but it is great advice. And here's the thing. If you did this, so let's say you put a 2K in a penny stock and it's tripled and you've now got 6K. Well, you know, here's the thing. Take the 2K in profits, right? And you've still got 4K in your penny stock. And that way there, if it does tank, you haven't lost anything. You know, yeah, sure, it pulled your contribution room down, but your contribution room grew, so it only subtracted what you grew. So that is one of the ways, like with a speculative stock, if you are gambling with it, take your initial investment if it does well, because then you're at a point that you can't lose. You can break even, but you can't lose. Rory, let's see, I got brained for a 10% loss. Thanks, Candace. I will look more into that hybrid portfolio. Yeah, and you'll definitely find content on the channel. All right. Ian says, my dad was up 100% on weed stocks. I said, great, great, sell. He said, no, it's going up tenfold, went to zero. Yep. Oh, boy. Doorpat says, so at retirement, say I need 80 to 100K to live annually. If I pull that out in 1 year from the TFSA, do I get 100K room for TFSA investment back the next year, in addition to the 7K additions? Yeah, you do. So yeah, if you pull, so let's say your TFSA, let's say you have 100K sitting in your TFSA right now, and this December you need it for whatever reason. You pull that 100K out in January when you get your 7K. You'll get that 100K back. The room for the 100K. They're not going to give you 100,000, but they'll give you the room. So if in January you get 100,000 back, let's say you were taking it out because you were lending it to someone or something, you get it back in January, you can put it back in. But keep in mind, if you did that in January, you would have to wait to the following January to get it back. So, guy I worked with years ago made $2 million in the weed market. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Michael says, look at DLO that has strong fundamentals and earnings, was on November 12th that has upgrades to 15, and October 14th was an upgrade to 19. By a chart has upside at 1550 that could hit 17. DLO, let's see here. What is DLO here? I feel like I should know it. D-Local Limited. Okay, there we go. So this here is a U.S. stock. I can see some movement in there for sure, Michael. All right. AN says CRA puts a lot of focus on what you do for a living before slamming you also. If you're in financials, your head is a little higher out of the water. Yeah, absolutely. I look at it this way. If you are, let's say you're a bus driver who really doesn't have anything to do with the financial market, they're probably not looking very hard at you. 700,000 pays a lot of dividends. What is CDR? That's a certificate of depository receipt. So for example, here, let me show you. Let's go with Microsoft. So this here is Microsoft CDR, Canadian hedged. So basically, in a nutshell, this is done by CIBC. So they will go and they will buy a bunch of Microsoft, and they'll hold it in a, we'll call it a trust or a basket, whatever you want to call it. They will then create these depository receipts. So they're sort of like a fractional share, and they will sell them. Right now, they're selling them for $35.18. And these are tied directly to the price of Microsoft. So when Microsoft goes up, these go up not the exact amount, but so if, for example, if Microsoft doubled, would these double? These would come pretty close, because there is some little tiny bit of management fees in the background of this, because obviously CIBC isn't doing this out of the goodness of their hearts, but it gives you a way that because it's Canadian hedge, you don't have to deal with currency or anything like that. They're just a good way. Like if they have dividends, you will get the dividends. And if you look here, like I'll show you, let's see here. If you looked at Microsoft, you'll see that this will pretty much look at the same. So yeah, they're pretty good. Now DoorPass says CDR high management expense ratio. Yeah, they do charge some. Has significant impact for long term over time. I ran the numbers on my Google and Amazon CDRs to keep for 10 years, losing close to 6 figures. It really depends. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing with CDRs, like I don't hold them long term. For me, I use them for swing trades, to be honest, because I can get in, I can track what Microsoft is doing, and I can then get out on a swing trade pretty easily on it. But that's what they are. They're a way to avoid that currency conversion. So, is there management expense ratio on there? Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I guess in this case here, DoorPad is saying that close to 6 figures over 10 years. I haven't run the numbers. But yeah, you are paying for it, obviously. Now, the best way, of course, to hold, if you really wanted to hold Microsoft and you had a US account, you could do it in there as well. But then you're holding Microsoft stock. And depending on the broker, like Wealthsimple will charge you $10 a month for a US account, unless you have more than $100,000 in the account. National Bank, you can have a free US account in there. The only big difference is, well, it's right now. Right now, you can do something called the Norbert's Gambit. It's just basically a way of journaling between US and Canadian without paying conversion fees. Wealthsimple is supposed to have that early 2026, so that is another option as well. Anyway, but CDRs, Certificate of Depository Receipt. The only one on earth to see an upside on WeedMD. I may be. That's kind of cool. I don't hope that's not my claim to fame, but maybe it will be. Anchor says, I typically don't gamble at all, but I just bought 2.5K of MSTR with the long-term play of it bouncing back. I think that's a safe thing. If you're looking at it from a long horizon, I think you're probably going to be fine. CRA has more employees than all branches of the military. Probably, yeah, absolutely. Let's see, GOF is a fund that pays a monthly dividend of 18 cents. Not sure what is the fund. That I don't know. I'm actually caught up. Let's see, I make like $60 in dividends monthly. Yeah, yawn. Well, it takes a while. But as you invest over time, if you're consistent with it, numbers start going up. Numbers start going up a lot faster. And because of compounding, numbers will start to pick up. So at first, yeah, things are slow. Things are slow. But excuse me, by the time you've got $100,000 sitting there in your account, things are moving pretty quick. And it speeds up. It's that's why they call it snowballing. DoorPat, yeah, I intend to do that journaling in Quest Trade. Started the CDR in Wealthsimple. If they do bring Norbert's Gambit next year, then I'll stick with them. Okay, there we go. All right, guys. This is another Friday. We're heading into the weekend. We will have a show on Sunday, of course, as normal. It'll be the last show of November. And guys, we got a Monday show. And Monday, you'll have an opportunity to have a Tuesday show if you want one. And of course, we have the Wednesday show already. So Tuesday, if we get a show on Tuesday, basically on Tuesday, there'll be no opportunity to earn a new show. We'll do that on Wednesday for Thursday, So Tuesday will just be a nice free day. A free day. You don't have to do anything. I love it. All right, guys. Enjoy the weekend. I will see you guys, of course, on Sunday. And I'm going to post something probably either today or tomorrow. There's this free do-it-yourself seminar that 9 Point is holding. I'm going to post some information on that for you guys on the weekend on the community tab. I think it looks really interesting. So anyway, and I'll talk a little bit more about that on the weekend. So guys, until next time, enjoy the rest of your day. And oh, I got to be big. I got to be big to leave. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your Saturday. Let me know on Sunday if you put the tree up this weekend. I'm kind of curious. Until next time, guys, take care, and I will see you later. Bye-bye. Oh, that didn't work. Bye-bye.